It's Tuesday night, and here's what happened. There is no Epstein list. You're a creep if you want to see it. And no, the Trump administration is no longer considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell. In fact, the idea that the White House or Trump was ever considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell is really just hearsay. And maybe you heard it from Trump, who called Ghislaine Maxwell a really nice lady and he wished her well, but he was never actually going to pardon her. In fact, he just told the Department of Justice to tell the Supreme Court to not take her appeals case. And this problem with Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell runs a lot deeper than just him trying to get the Department of Justice to try and get the Supreme Court to not hear her appeal. It goes all the way back to Florida politics when then State Attorney General Alex Acosta, who would go on to become the Secretary of Labor in Trump's first administration, brokered a deal for Jeffrey Epstein that allowed him to basically not go to prison or be held accountable at all, and that included a non-prosecutorial agreement for all of his co-conspirators. Ghislaine Maxwell and her lawyers are saying, based on the fact that there was a non-prosecutorial agreement and on the fact that the Department of Justice is now saying there's not even a list, how could she possibly be in jail? Ghislaine's lawyers adding, Trump is the ultimate deal maker. I'm sure he'd agree that when the United States gives its word, it should keep it, meaning when it said it wasn't going to prosecute any of Epstein's co-conspirators. With all the talk about who's being prosecuted and who isn't, it's especially unfair that Ghislaine Maxwell remains in prison based on a promise the government made and broke, that promise being not to prosecute. Or maybe that promise was to release the Epstein documentation, which of course they have not done, in which Ghislaine Maxwell claims if they did do that, you would see that she was just as much a victim of Jeffrey as anybody else. But Trump really doesn't want us to talk about the Epstein stuff, which is why there's been a bit of a fire hose of other news coming out as well, including the Supreme Court saying it's okay for Donald Trump to dismantle the Department of Education. The Supreme Court has also created a temporary permission structure for federal officers, which includes ICE officers, to enter your home without probable cause. There's a case that they're supposed to hear in this next term known as Case v. Montana, and it would decide if law enforcement can enter your home without a search warrant based on less than probable cause if they think that it's an emergency to enter your house. That case has not been heard yet, but the Supreme Court has said, for the summer, while we're on vacation, you go right ahead and keep on entering people's homes without search warrants if you think that there might be an emergency inside. Today, 9 people who protested ICE in Spokane, Washington, were arrested and charged with federal felonies. These arrests are connected to a June 11th protest where some people did throw paint at the windshield of ICE vehicles and let air out of their tires. We don't know if it's these 9 people. They haven't gone on trial yet. But the mayor of Spokane is calling these arrests politically motivated and a perversion of our justice system. In other news, about 2,000 of the 4,000 National Guard troops that have been stationed in LA will be pulled back.